Hey Sonja, how are you? How's New York?
New York is a little bit rainy, a little bit chilly. Finally, the season's changing, but we've got sunny day tomorrow. That's the beauty of the city, that we end up in winter, but with blue skies. How about you?
Well, actually, today's quite nice. It's been a bit rainy, so I'm hoping to get out amongst the weather, do something fun. It's actually school holidays, so I need to go on an adventure with the kids.
Absolutely. The Finnish people have a phrase. It's not about the weather; it's about the clothing. So you just dress for rain and go about your business. Yeah.
Yes.
But we're
Now that
not
we
here to talk about weather.
we've talked about weather, let's move to why we're here.
Yeah.
We are talking about the Humanise Yourself, Unleash Your Potential Online Movement Festival. Gosh, that's a mouthful. And we're going to talk about your theme, your topic, which is around, you can finish the sentence.
Well, it's specifically around back pain because it's such a common problem that people are living with. And if you haven't had back pain, you're kind of one of the lucky ones. So it's something that I find that in my one-to-one clientele in person practice, I'm coming across very often. And interestingly, um, also in my social life, I'm sure you might have a friend and they've got a back pain, or they've had to cancel something because they got a back pain, or they can't go to work because they got a back pain. And I'm kind of this particular incident happened just yesterday, where I was at a restaurant and I know the staff there, the waiter, and he'd been taking a few days off, and because his back was really bothering him, and someone said, "Oh, well, you should just get it checked out, get an MRI, and you might need surgery." And it was just like it's like 1 and 1 makes 17. Like, wait a minute.
Oh,
And I
no.
think, yeah, I actually, said bye to that person and pulled my friend aside and said, yeah, people say things. They're just trying to be helpful because they can't help. This person wasn't a doctor. They weren't a movement therapist. So the only thing they could say was, well, get it checked out and, it's all right. You might need surgery. And it was like, that is hopefully it's an option if it's needed, but it's very much down the track. So this workshop that I'll be presenting is going to talk about pain, fundamentally what pain is, because pain, interestingly, isn't the existence or isn't injured tissue. So what I mean by that, I mean, you get a paper cut, you usually feel pain. You have, let's say you tear a muscle, you feel pain. You strain or you have a herniated disc and you feel pain. And they seem to be a 1-to-1, 1+1 makes 2 kind of scenario. But pain actually doesn't exist in the tissues. And to give you an example of what that means, the implication is that pain is literally in your head. It doesn't mean you make it up. And another important aspect to pain management, especially when you're in the medical world or you're going into the medical world because you're trying to deal with your pain, is that your pain is incredibly unique to you. And if you say, I have pain, I have to believe you because it's a very subjective, but it's a very real experience. So when I say it's in your head, I don't mean you're making it up. What I mean is that it's an event, an experience that your brain constructs. So this is an example, an inverse example of what I mean by this. So there are folk out there and they have had amputations. Maybe they've lost a finger or a leg or for whatever reason. And over again in the medical world, they're finding that these people have something called phantom limb. And what that means is they have pain, they have sensation, usually a negative sensation, in that lost part of their body, in that part of their body that's no longer physically there, but their brain believes it to be there. So no amount of medication, no amount of, putting an ice pack or whatever is going to change that experience because it's in the brain. So this is a really interesting idea, and it can actually help us in the movement field to give people tools and strategies for overcoming pain, whether that pain is because, so I could talk more about that because that's really an interesting topic, what is causing the pain?
So fascinating. And it's not just something we can explore in this 10-minute little interview. So people, please sign up for the Online Movement Festival. I'll ask Sonja to drop her affiliate link in the chat if she's got it available, and come and explore this. It's so fascinating when we talk about pain. I've been lucky. When I do have pain or discomfort, I've got the skill set of the Feldenkrais method. But I do remember as a first-time mother, you're always picking the baby up, picking the pram up, picking the bag up, all of this. And when I did get to lie on the floor, it was excruciating. I had to spend a lot of time getting on the floor to undo those movement patterns, which is, I can really feel for people that do experience back pain. And you're right. Some people, they do need to go down the track of a medical intervention, but there's so much you can do before that. Yeah.
Now, I'm not poo-pooing the medical world at all. I think it's enormous. Well, quite frankly, if you have an accident, you want to go to intensive care, you want to go to the emergency ward, you want to know that medicine is advanced and can look after you. And I would say that it's a good idea to have the investigation, meaning, go and have the test, go and have the X-ray maybe or the MRI, and think of it as your map. It's like going on vacation and to a city that you've dreamt about. You want to go to Paris. Oh, I'm so excited to go to Paris. But if you want to go to the Eiffel Tower, you better have a pretty good map. I mean, we have GPS now, we have it on our phone, so the map analogy is not so strong anymore. But clarifying the map for yourself, for your doctor, for your movement practitioner is really a good one. But can I go back to, why pain is in your head?
Yes.
Analogy? Because the flip side of someone who's experiencing pain in a part of their body that doesn't exist is the situation where someone has actually experienced a lot of tissue damage. And this happens, unfortunately, in the course of war, people who are soldiers perhaps, and they are looking after their battalion, or they're looking after their colleague, their comrade, I suppose. And the comrade's injured, and they want to get them back to safety, and they do whatever they can to get them. And it turns out that the person who's helping has actually taken a bullet or a shrapnel. And because their expectation of what's needed, it's not like they are feeling pain and they go, no, I just got to get on with this, is their brain doesn't let them experience that pain. So there's an instance where someone may have had a grievous body injury, but because they are under such pressure that they want to get something done, their body doesn't allow them to experience pain. So these are two very different examples of what pain is. And I think that movement is critical when it comes to understanding and resolving pain. So in my talk and in my sessions, and I'll be offering some in the VIPs, some short courses that help you experience this firsthand, is that movement has two effects, two possibilities, is that you've actually got to become aware of what movements might be causing you pain. So someone might have a back injury and they might think that doing some stretching or having a massage is good, but actually what happens is maybe they're pressing on the nerves and creating more problems. But in the massage and the stretch, their brain releases endorphins. So endorphins are like your own biological, painkiller cabinet. And for that moment, there's a sort of a natural high, but it's your body just trying to get you over that hump. And then you go back to feeling that chronic long-term pain. So it's not a solution. And then movement can be a really wonderful remedy if you are able to move in a mindful way, because sometimes your expectation of pain overrides your ability to move freely and easily. And if you're going to explore the possibility of movement as an ally, Feldenkrais method is a great example of finding safe, easy, soft and slow movements that help you recognize that, oh yeah, I can move in that way that I've been bracing or protecting against, because my brain unconsciously is protecting me. It's doing the best that it can. So this is where movement can both be a remedy and the cause of your pain. So being really clear about how you're using movement is important too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Ralph Haddon has joined us and said, good illustration of subjective of pain. Yes.
The subjectivity, yeah. It's a very personal experience. And what I also know to be true, it's something I do with my clients, and there are fields of pain management that have documented that when a patient, client, you, the person experiencing pain, when you understand what's going on, it actually helps you feel not just in control, but it reduces your pain. It actually has a dial down effect. So don't be afraid of pain. It's a strange thing to say. Pain has a purpose. Pain has a purpose, and the purpose is to get your attention. Now, sometimes it goes a bit haywire. It's tapping on your shoulder. Hey, something's happening. Hey, something's happening. And nothing really is happening. So discerning between them. Should you be on alert? Should you be moving a little differently, a little more gently? Or is it time to actually go back to movement, because it's the lack of movement where your blood flow is restricted, your nerve conduction is restricted, all sorts of things start to happen when you avoid movement that are really easy to remedy as well.
Fascinating. Yes. So you did mention that you've got something in the VIP package. So we'll just have a little chat about that. So what we're offering as part of the festival is a VIP experience, which means that, it is 3 days. It can be a lot for some people. You can navigate through at your own pace. And then we have 10 bonuses. So one being a 2-week movement camp with all the presenters presenting more movement lessons over 2 weeks. So there's another 20 movement lessons you'll get access to. We've got a program happening next March because, with these things, it does take time. So we're going to explore some different ideas and workshops in March next year. And then a lot of the presenters have given some of their own work to offer in the VIP package, and it's a really, really reasonable price. At the moment, it's $97, so really no-brainer, right, to access all of that amazing content and be in a private support group inside the Movement Online Academy. Then it will increase once the festival begins and then after the festival. So very exciting.
It's a time-sensitive thing. Get in early and pay the early bird price. And I think it's really good because each presenter is talking on a topic, and we get we don't want people to have to sit in front of their computers for hours and hours. So the lecture, if you want to call it, the lecture content is pretty short, and then we all have a movement lesson. And it is not just it's not just a pill. You don't just go, oh, I had a movement lesson once and yeah, I get it. It's an ongoing practice. It's a changing of the way you move and the way you think. It's a bit like learning a language. I tell my students and my clients, I say, it takes time to learn a new language. It takes a lot of exposure to the sound of the language. If you want to write it, you've got to see it written. And a practice that doesn't just happen like all at once. So if that 3 days feels overwhelming, I think that VIP option is a really good one, because then you can do a little bit every day. And that's what our movement camp is about, is you will get lessons every day. So you can pop in live if it's a good time on your schedule, or you've got the recordings. And, this sort of virtual world, even though sitting and staring at our computers are causing all sorts of physical problems, you can use your device, your computer, for great benefit, for freeing your brain and your mind and your body. So
yes. Well, I would like to add that everything is delivered on a podcast as well. So with the access to the podcast, it's a simple click to subscribe. If you just follow the directions, open it on your phone, click to subscribe, and then you don't even have to log into the platform. You just open up your podcast app, and there it is. So I love that we're able to offer that service. It means that, you can listen on the go, take it anywhere. You don't even have to have your computer.
Yeah, it's great. And a lot of the movement lessons are exactly that. They're not something that you're going to look at and reproduce. You're actually listening. You're actually creating your own handwriting as you move. So I think that's a really a good way to stop people getting so visually locked in their screens.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, is there any last words that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap this up?
I'm just looking forward to it. We've got a great lineup. There's a couple of colleagues that I know and some people I don't. So it's going to be a busy 3 days for me, tuning in and trying to attend the live lessons is really great to, close the door and put a mat on the floor and just kind of really get into it and feel it. So that will be great. And looking forward to hearing the feedback that people have about their experience. And there's a couple of us talking about pain, so don't be afraid. Come and join us. Yeah,
that's what I love about the fact it's inside the Movement Online Academy, so we can have those conversations, just like a social media, although without the advertising, which is cool. Thanks for joining me, Sonja.
Great to be here. Thanks for being the big head, the big organizer. It's all in there and it's all coming out.
I love it. I love it. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.
See you soon.